I've had the same kick drum mic setup for years, and recently I wanted to figure out, is there a better combination? So with the help of Zounds, I got together 7 different kick drum mics. I recorded them all at the same exact time, and let's take a listen. So what you just heard were 7 different kick drum mics on the same kick drum during the same take, soloed, back to back. Throughout this whole video, you're gonna hear these kick drum mics with no EQ or compression at all, and they were all recorded through the same preamp, the Audix ASP880. I'm not gonna reveal which mic is which until the very end of the video, so that as we listen to the mics in different contexts, we can truly make up our minds on which mic we think sounds the best. And then at the very end, we will know without a doubt, with no bias, which we think is the best. But as we go along, put your guesses in the comments of which mic you think is what. So all the mics we're demoing today are a Shure SM57, an Audix D6, a Lewitt DTP640, the Warm Audio WA-47F, the Shure Beta52, and the Dennis Leeflang D-Sub Subkick. You can check out all of these mics in the description below. There are links to all of them on Zounds' website, so you can check these mics out if you like what you hear. So we've heard the mics soloed back to back, but let's hear the kick mics paired with the rest of the drum mics. So when it comes to kick drum mics, here's what I'm typically looking for my setup. I typically have 2 kick drum mics on the kick drum. One typically goes inside the kick drum, and it's more there for the attack and the presence of the kick. And then I have a kick out mic, which is usually on the outside of the kick drum on the front head. And that's more for like the low end, the punch, the thump of the kick drum. Ideally, whatever 2 mics I use to mic the kick drum, they kind of naturally, with no EQ or anything, add up to kind of a whole image of the kick drum and kind of complement each other without having to do a bunch of EQ or any legwork. With kick mics, I also pay attention to how much bleed there is from the other drums in the kick mic. I want to make sure that, it's really easy to just kind of push the faders up on the kick mics and they're clean and sound good and they're good to go. So let's hear these mics in the context of a full song. Before we do that, if recording is kind of confusing to you and the kick mics and you're like, there's 2 kick mics, why do you use each kick mic? I made a course called Drum Recording for the Working Musician, and it's all about how to start recording with your iPhone and then move to 1 mic and then 2 mics and then a couple mics and then, a full setup like I have, like a million mics on the drum kit. And it's built and designed to help you, regardless of where you are in your recording journey, to like make life easier. It teaches basic mixing. It also teaches things like how to make a drum cover video for like YouTube and Instagram. I think it's a great course. Link in the description if you want to check that out and you think it might help. Okay, let's hear these mics in the context of a full song. So my goal for making this video is I've had the Beta52 as my kick in and the D sub, the Dennis Lieflang, sub kick. Those have been my two mics I've used for like the last 5 years or something. And every now and then I kind of start scratching my head going, is there a better option out there? And the other thing that I was really, really curious about was the Warm Audio 47F that they have, kind of having a kick in dynamic mic and then a FET 47 outside the kick. That's like a really popular combination of kick drum mics. So I was curious, am I missing out on something by not having that mic? So considering all that, I think we have enough to kind of make up our minds and decide which we like best. I know I do. If you need to listen to any of the clips to kind of hear something, you can go back and there's timestamps in the description so you can revisit kind of each playthrough soloed with the full drum mics, and then, within the context of a song. But I have enough info to make up my mind. I hope you do too. And let's go ahead and reveal which mics are which. So there it is. Put down below in the comments what you think kind of surprised you. Here are a few thoughts I had after listening to all these like back and back over and over in a couple different contexts. So personally for me, I was really disappointed in the Warm Audio FET. I think for 800 bucks, it doesn't sound nearly as good out of the box as I would want it to. It doesn't accomplish what I want it to. Again, I wanted it to kind of have low end and kind of get the meaty part of the kick drum. And I think the mic just without EQ has like a ton of mid-range, which I like a lot of mid-range. It could be cool. It just felt way out of balance for how much low end out of the box it didn't have. Now I will say with EQ, this mic can sound really cool. Something that surprised me is the SM57 sounds kind of cool, especially as an inside kick mic, because it's kind of like all mid-range and attack. And if you put EQ on the SM57, I actually think for 99 bucks, I think it's a very legitimate kind of, I only have one mic sitting around and I need a kick drum mic. You could totally use this. The Lewitt mic. For me personally, didn't really do it for me. To me, the dynamic capsule of it didn't really sound like dynamic enough, and the condenser part of it really didn't sound condenser-y enough. And I will say that mic does have an EQ switch on it, and there's a couple different settings you can do to boost. It's got a switch where if you turn it to that, it'll boost a little bit of presence and brightness in the dynamic one, and it'll boost a little bit of low end in the condenser one. And it's a cool concept. It just, to me, it didn't, both capsules kind of more or less sounded pretty similar. And I don't know, it just, to me, it felt a little bit more like a gimmick. But put below in the comments what you think. The Audix was another mic I was really curious about. I was wondering if there would be an occasion where I would switch out the Beta52 inside for the Audix and keep it with the sub kick. And for me, the Audix sounded good. It just had too much clicky attack to it, like in the 3K to 5K range. And I really more like kind of low mid-range, like 1.5K type like attack and presence in the kick drum. So I think if I was playing different genres more frequently, like if I was a rock and roll or like a metal drummer, I think the Audix, it would be totally how I would go because it kind of sounds more like that out of the box. But the Audix was cool, but wasn't for me. The Dennis Lieflang D-sub, to me, is incredible. There are a bunch of different sub kick mics on them, and some, you know, you've seen the Yamaha one that's inside the little drum enclosure, and there's a ton of them out there. This one to me sounds different than a lot of the other ones I've heard, and it just sounds awesome. It's a tight low end. It's not like a super boomy low end, which is really important because if it's too boomy, then you have to tame it and it's a pain. It's just really punchy low end, and it picks up nothing else. So you don't have to worry about bleed with that mic because it doesn't really pick up the mid-range and the high-end stuff. So it's just, if you record it and you end up in your mix or whatever, you want more low end in the kick drum, you just push that fader up and you don't really have to worry about it. And finally, the Beta52 really kind of blew me away. It's really beefy. It's got a good amount of attack and a good amount of low end. So if you only wanted one mic to use on your kick drum, I think it's a great option, especially because it's not terribly expensive and it sounds great. So I think from here on out, I'm sticking with my Beta52 and my D-sub.